Welcome to the Liv Well Fest video series, brought to you by the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, the HF Chronicle, and Bionic Content. Our goal is to inspire and promote healthy lifestyles through activities, workshops, and experiences. This series serves as a prelude to our in-person Liv Well Festival, where you'll have the opportunity to connect with medical providers and wellness leaders in the Chicago Southland. Join us on this journey towards better health and living well. Today, we welcome Taylor Ashmore, Editor-in-Chief of Be Well Health and Wellness Newsletter and Vice President of BIPOC DNA. Taylor discusses nutrition and explains how the gut-brain axis impacts our mental health. Here's Taylor.
Well, hello, everybody. Great to be here with all of you and talking about such great information that I feel needs to be discussed even more. That's actually the reason why I started studying dietetics to begin with, to have conversations just like this with all of you. So we typically hear a lot about the diet and how it affects not only our physical health, but it can also affect our mental health. But I feel like not many people explain how that actually happens. So today we are going to discuss something called the gut-brain axis and its impact that it has on our mental health, specifically in the workplace. So a little bit about me. I am a fourth-year undergraduate nutrition science student. I am studying at UIC. I'm actually a recent candidate for their coordinated program for their graduate program coming up in 2025. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you. Thank you. As Mayor Ellsbury mentioned, I am also the vice president of an organization called BIPOC DNA, which is Black, Indigenous, People of Color, Dietetic and Nutrition Association. It's a mouthful. Yes, I realize. I also have started a nutrition newsletter that I've called Be Well. I actually have a little bit of information about that towards the end. And most recently, I'm actually working with the Chicago Hounds Major League Rugby team to create a nutrition guide for the team. So that's very exciting. All right, so we've heard about the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, but I bet not many have heard of the enteric nervous system. So the enteric nervous system is a branch of our central nervous system that actually resides in our gut. So many people try to throw around like, oh, this gut is a second brain. But again, never actually explain how that actually is, what that actually means. So what is it? The enteric nervous system, or the gut-brain axis, is a bidirectional communication network between the GI tract and our central nervous system. It is the vagus nerve that is connected from our central nervous system, from our spinal cord to our gut. And it is involved in our immune response. It actually innervates the gut to promote the rest and digest system within us. So it is responsible for proper digestion. So the function of it is to act as our second brain, which is essentially everything that we intake, it manifests into the body, into the different minerals, nutrients, there we go, and ultimately affects our physical and mental health through something called neurotransmitters. So if there is a lack of neurotransmitters being produced within the gut through poor nutrition, it can affect our emotional effect, motivation, and ultimately our decision making. So diets high in unhealthy fats, low in fiber, and nutrient deficient foods can influence negative changes in our sleep patterns, seen in sleep disorders such as insomnia, can manifest as chronic illness, as we have mentioned. This can lead to long-term inflammation, leading to diabetes, heart disease, or lesser-known fatigue and brain fog. And also our cognition, memory, and thinking, which is associated with an increased risk of memory loss, cognitive decline, and Alzheimer's disease as well. So how exactly does this take place? Well, in our gut, we have something, it is considered something to be the microbiome. The microbiome is composed of trillions of microorganisms called microbiota. The microbiota aid in digestion, absorption, and support immune health. So therefore, what we eat changes the diversity in our gut bacteria, which can cause a microbiome imbalance. So neurotransmitters essentially are chemicals that carry messages through the brain and the body, which are supported by proper nutrition. So there are some neurotransmitters, such as neurons in the brain, that are produced in the gut, such as serotonin, which is more commonly known as the happy chemical, dopamine, which is responsible for our pleasure system, and GABA, which is another long one. It actually stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. Which respectively, each of these are responsible for mood regulation, stress response, and cognitive function. So if we are having a diet that's high in fat, low in fiber, and nutrient deficient, then we can see an imbalance within the microbiome, seeing changes within our mood, our cognition, our sleep, our stress responses, and pain signaling. So inflammation is another buzzword that's thrown around pretty frequently. However, what exactly it means for us, for our diet and the body, inflammation is caused by diets high in refined carbs, processed foods, sugars, and nutrient deficiencies. Chronic inflammation in the gut can also spread throughout the body. We see this in cancers, we see this in arthritis in our joints, and it also reduces the immune system's ability to fight off infection within the body as well. This is linked to leaky gut, IBS, depression, and anxiety disorders as well. So how do we fix this? How can we practically put all of this information into our lives? So I thought it would be nice to start with the USDA My Plate Guidelines. This is something we talk about each and every day in all of my classes. This is the cornerstone for all things nutrition. So what you're looking for, having half of your plate combined of fruits and vegetables, a fourth of your plate being whole grains preferably, if not having at least half of a grain being whole grains, and protein being the last fourth. However, dairy is kind of controversial, if you will. Plant-based products are, very popular these days, which I am a fan as well. So that is with debate. However, this is essentially what you want to aim your plate to look like. Okay, so how can we practically do this? And I thought I would provide some practical steps for us all to take into consideration. So key thing, diversify your diet. There's a rule of 5. So 5 fruits and vegetables a day, aiming for about 30 different plants. When I say plants, that's fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, etc. 5 servings per day. That is a good indicator that you are supplying your gut with the proper bacteria that your body needs to function properly. Brown rice, whole grain oats are examples of whole grains that we can add in. There are others such as quinoa, which is, a little more, not a popular favorite amongst most. Lean proteins such as poultry, seafood, legumes such as a plant-based form of protein, so beans, lentils, for example. Healthy fats such as olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocado, great choices there, and that actually is helpful for inflammation. Healthy fats help combat inflammation within the body and are their primary source to decrease that mechanism. Also, I'm a huge advocate for this, fresh herbs and spices over salt. I personally like to mention that herbs and spices are possibly the best thing we can do for seasoning our food. Salt just takes the flavor of whatever you're putting salt on and just enhances the flavor. However, the herbs and spices can add their own additional flavor in addition to the natural flavor of whatever you're trying to season. So not only will it taste good, however, for example, cilantro, delicious, amazing. There's some people who think it tastes like soap, which I'm so sorry for those of you. I love cilantro. But cilantro actually cleanses the blood of heavy metals. So not only are you making your food taste great, but you're actually helping cleanse your blood of heavy metals, which is pretty cool. And also sourdough bread and yogurt, which are examples of fermented foods. Fermented foods are helpful because they add in bacteria, helpful bacteria to our gut, therefore helping spread even more positive, good bacteria within our gut to function properly as well. Limiting pro-inflammatory foods such as packaged foods, sugary snacks, refined carbs, unhealthy fats, trans fats, which are typically seen in fried food, and saturated fats. And what can employers do to support this? Well, encourage exercise amongst your employees. Create an opportunity for a better work-life balance. The stresses of the office, heavy workloads, all contribute to lack of time, meaning lack of time to meal prep or spend time creating a meal that's actually healthier for you than to having a lack of time and just running to the nearest fast food restaurant. Create a positive work environment. Have great interpersonal relationships amongst your colleagues. This is something that really plays into the health of your employees, the mental health specifically, because if you're already having a stressful schedule, you're having a stressful workload, having conflict with your colleagues, it just makes it that much more worse. So creating a well-rounded environment amongst everyone and reducing workplace stressors. Just try to support your employees as much as possible. Let them be seen, let them be heard. And this is a great way to boost morale amongst the office. All right, so our takeaways. Nutrition affects our gut through its influence on the gut-brain connection. Proper nutrition enhances our brain function by introducing new bacteria to our microbiome, regulates our neurotransmitters, prevents and manages chronic illnesses by reducing inflammation in the body. So we want to eat to support our gut health, boost our brain health, reduce inflammation, and improve our total well-being. So that is the end of my presentation. However, here is kind of a glimpse into the newsletter that I've created over the last 6 months, which is pretty interesting to see how far it's come. It started just as a crazy idea and 6 issues later. And I think we're going to keep it going. It was actually on behalf of the student organization I'm in at my school, BIPOC DNA. But I realized that people, even outside of school, were like, I want to learn more. So here we are. I'm showing it to you all. And I'm actually creating a subscription email list. So feel free, shoot me an email. And maybe we can get these slides sent out later as well. Okay, great. So you can have another opportunity to scan QR codes and send emails and other things. So thank you so much.